So Rich, people just tuning in right now, so give us a recap once again. Your space, we mentioned international real estate broker, finance, wealth consultant. You've worked with companies across the globe as well as obviously here on the East Coast. You do quite a number of speaking engagements.
Right.
Expound on that. Yeah.
Say that. I'm confused, Rich.
Well, there's about 8 paragraphs here or whatever. Yeah, I'm trying to pull out the key points. So real estate. Tell us about your background before you got into what you're doing right now. Obviously, it was in.
Sure. Background was I was a corporate hitman. My job was to take people out of red and put them back into the black. And I said, as time changes, the business changes, the people change. Mm-hmm. I says, I've got to start to now iron in on something that's going to give people better or the greatest of opportunity. And so focusing on that, my life was just like that. Baby boomer who has always ran the gamut of having some kind of trouble somewhere along the lines. Right. I did manage to stay out of jail, so that was a good thing.
That's a good thing.
Right? But somewhere along the lines, always trying to get better. Kind of left corporate America maybe about, it was about 21, 22 years ago. And I says, I probably would never, ever go back.
Yeah.
And I said, if I can do it for myself, I kind of look at it as that it's the simple moments we treasure that kind of create the journey for a lifetime. And I say, what are the things that I can do differently that I can perhaps change somebody's direction and open up their world just a little bit more, all right, so they can perhaps be a little more successful. And that's where focus came from.
Okay. And interesting background because you do have that corporate experience.
Yes.
And so you can relate to those folks because
sure.
A lot of folks, they've always had their business. They can't really understand the corporate ladder, their structure, and the dynamics of that, right?
A lot of people get into the business and not understanding what really goes into it.
Right.
Some of the moving parts themselves are things they'll kind of shy away from. Those that are involved in real estate usually don't have a marketing background. Usually they don't have a sales background. They were just told that you can make a lot of money.
Right.
And in getting into something to sell, they really didn't have an idea what they were getting into.
Yeah. So what does a day look like for you? I mean, traveling, but these organizations are typically within the real estate industry that you're speaking with and coaching?
It'll be individuals in the real estate industry, in the finance industry. There's several sectors we dive into. From real estate, we kind of work and help and develop people themselves in their business, their strategies. From the financial side of the world, of course, we look at, from a real estate perspective, individuals getting inside of real estate or purchasing real estate. It's going to be one of the largest investments they'll ever make in their life. I want to be able to protect that investment going down the line. So we look at not only real estate, but we look at financial services. We also say in the financial end that there is more sex education being taught around the country, more than there will be financial education. And I think there's a great need to get on that bandwagon to really find out what are the nuts and bolts. How does money really work? And whether it's an investment or whether it's just something that you're working day in, day out and looking for a savings. How are you going to make your money grow? And what are the areas of opportunity that you're going to be able to focus on? And so we take a look at that from not only a leadership standpoint, but kind of a direction of performance and relationship. And we look at the adversities and some of the things we come in contact with. And also on top of that, you take a look at the accountability, the individuals and opportunities and environments themselves which you want to create for yourself.
Yeah, money can be very complicated, and it spills over to all aspects of our life, whatever, right? The lack of or the surplus of, right?
Exactly.
So with these organizations you work with in business development, do you is it an event, or do you have ongoing training and coaching with them? Are you on board with them for a certain period of time, or how does that work?
Sure. There's usually a period of time out there where we're working with a particular association or a group or a company or corporation. Maybe they're looking at different ways to enhance their product development, reaching out to different areas of relationship marketing, or understanding a little bit more about the business model or where they're going. Our business models are constantly in change, constantly in flux. And so what are the things we need to do in order to better ourselves or to increase the level of productivity and profitability going forward?
What does like a curriculum look like? Or do you have a certain program that you adopt within the organization, something that you've created, or a training program you're certified within? Or?
Sure, without a doubt. There are a ton of programs that were associated through the National Association of Realtors. That's from the real estate side.
Okay.
So whether dealing with buyers and sellers, dealing with generations, dealing with different types of senior buyers, or maybe internationals. Maybe you're looking for an investment side, or maybe it's business from the business brokerage side, commercial. There's so many different aspects out there. That's one area. when we get into the financial services, we hang out with a company called the World Financial Group.
Right.
And working with those guys
Yeah.
gives us the opportunity to really train and develop a sense of how money really works and how money really flows through the system. What is this whole thing about compounding?
Right.
What's this whole thing about the Rule 72? And we're working with the relationships of those types of people in the perspective. And then the last piece, which it's probably not in there, but we work with a company called Predictive Index and Predictive Results. This and utilizing these types of assessment tools gives us the opportunity to work with and qualify the right person for the right job. Based upon their cognitive and behavioral
kind of what Chuck was talking about. It's not just writing a check, and that's a good fit.
That's right.
You have to look at their behavioral resources and making sure it's a win-win for both parties. Because on the surface, they'd be saying, I want to dive into this real estate or financial business, but maybe it's just not
right.
It's not going to be a good outcome.
Maybe they lack the education. Maybe they lack the experience.
Right.
Our individuals themselves, we say in the business side of the world, people love to get in business. They love the area of opportunity of entrepreneurship. But if they just don't have a working knowledge of the nuts and bolts, they're probably destined to not do as well as they could,
right.
or if they gain that additional knowledge.
Now, what's your perspective on the old adage, salespeople are born? Right.
Well, there's the behavioral and cognitive makeup
right?
of those folks, without a doubt. I believe that everybody has a particular skill that they can learn, they can adhere to. If you really want to do it, that's going to fire the fire from within.
Because some people are very adverse to selling, that it has that connotation of like I'm trying to pitch someone. But if you really believe in, I'd imagine your thought would be if you really believe in your product, your service, right, it comes easier.
Well, it's not only product service, you've got to believe in what you're doing.
Yeah.
Are you helping an individual somewhere along the line that's going to be able to create something unique for others?
Right. And one other question, we're going to kind of open it up for both the gentlemen here to some additional conversations and questions, but in terms of sales and business development, which has obviously spent a good deal of your time, what's the biggest challenge that you see with folks where they're not able to produce and meet their quotas, or where's the disconnect?
We see it not only from real estate, we see it in financial services, we see it in the business development side. You have individuals that are top producers. Right. And the top producers, they start to rise to the cream of the crop because of the fact that they were making a lot of money in what they were doing.
Right.
It doesn't necessarily make them the prime target or prime individual to take over a managerial or a supervisor role. And that's where individuals get hurt.
Yeah.
They get into a particular area that they're very, very comfortable with.
Right.
If it's sales, there's a certain individual themselves that they're great in phone
make it
sales.
Happen,
They do great phone, all right?
Right, yeah.
And there's individuals that like the face-to-face.
Exactly, yeah.
But it's the point itself that we want to promote people. We want to raise people to a next level of a high level of expectation, but unfortunately they may not be ready for it. So it's attaining those skills naturally, and there's skills, resources, tools, and some of those areas of really just owning. All right, so that's kind of an ownership of what it is that you really want to do, and it's just really taking it for whatever it's worth.
Well, I definitely have a few other questions here, but first of all, how would folks? You got one of those easy domain names as well, so how would they find you online?
Very hard. It's richhart.com. It's richhart.com. Reach us out there. We'd love to work with different types of groups, different type of dynamics, looking for different types of industries, whether it be manufacturing, distribution, supply. We came from those areas. I worked very well in those kind of franchise. You were talking about franchising,
right?
And how franchising works. I think we're on a really push nowadays, a really big push for franchising, and really opening some doors there.
Yeah, because that would lead into a great segue. We'll talk in just a second about with Chuck Morrison, with Stay Mobile, and with their expansion that they're going into. The franchise model is amazing. We do a show in here, as we mentioned, specifically for the franchise industry, and it's amazing. And so people buy into that that package, that turnkey model, which is phenomenal. But I don't know. Sometimes if you don't have the sales, if you don't have that leg, the business development leg to that model, you can have the best looking, amazing, super rock star product and offering, but sales drives like in any other business, not just franchising. Every business needs that sales. So we're going to have that conversation in just a moment. Remind our listeners once again, you're listening to the Buckhead Business Show on the Pro Business channel here in our Atlanta studios. This show being brought to you in part by the Buckhead Business Association. You can check them out at just buckheadbusiness.org. So, gentlemen, we've got a few more minutes for a little bit of roundtable here. So, Chuck, you're on the edge of your seat. What are some of your thoughts based on what the conversation we just had with Rich, and maybe in terms of sales or something else that we may have need to know about Stay Mobile?
He's spot on. I mean, we have a hybrid, right? So we have some franchise locations and we have corporate locations. Right. The challenge is, again, for each person in that market to be the mayor of their community. And we're not really asking them to go out and sell anything in our business, because we're really just creating awareness. So they have X amount of businesses they really need to hit every week and pass out gift certificates and that sort of thing, because when you're in the service business, it's a little bit different than making a hard sale. And if you took out the leadership team in our company, the average age is probably 27, let's say. And so those folks, we really have to coach them on the sales process, sales 101, make them comfortable. They love what they do. There's so much enthusiasm and passion, all of them. Like it's nothing to walk into our home office here on a Saturday afternoon and there's 17 techs in there breaking down advice. And just because they love it, and that's inspiring to all of us. But on the sales side of things, that's a little bit of a hurdle for some people. But fortunately, I cut my teeth selling Lanier dictation systems. So Lanier was based here in Atlanta, and we were going up against Dictaphone, which was the Kleenex of the space. Right. And their sales training was exceptional, and so I still fall back. I still lean back on the voice writing story that they made us memorize word for word, or we were kicked out of the damn school.
Back in the day.
So I still fall back on that and try to really listen to them, coach them, and make them more comfortable talking about our services, when at the end of the day they really are selling. But we're really creating awareness. Yeah.
Well, I like that premise of mayor mobile, right? Be the mayor of your market, right? I like that kind of that premise. But again, that the idea, I've had a franchise business in the past, and it is a beautiful thing because it's all packaged and turnkey, and they give you kind of the structure and the routine like the military, right? We've had a number of we just did a Veterans Day spotlight episode, number of military people in business, and sometimes they get lost when they leave that structure, right? Or we've had Atlanta Falcons in here, and they said there's a playbook. When they show up, they don't have to think about what they're going to wear, what they're going to do, right? Yeah. So, Rich, talk to us about whether it's franchise or another model of, so they have the structure, but sometimes it's the accountability, where you mentioned, Chuck, where they have, here's your marketing, here's your goals that you need to meet your quotas to go out and visit so many people, right? Right.
So in San Antonio, we have a military incentive program for franchise owners. And so Alan Taylor is our new franchise owner.
Shout out to Alan
down there, and he's fantastic. And so we call our ops manual the playbook. Okay. And every week we call a play, right?
Wow.
And so for him, though, some of the air cover that we give him is there's a school district down there where we won a bid on their Chromebooks, I believe it was. And so all of that business will funnel right into his store. And so for him, he's like, okay, this is what I signed up for as a franchise owner for this kind of air cover. I know what I have to do on the ground. I'm not ready yet to be able to go respond to bids and all that, but I'm counting on you to do that for me. Right. And so he's very excited about it, and just a fantastic guy. I think he's going to do multiple units down there in San Antonio, so we're excited to have him.
That's awesome.
Yep.
It's funny, you're talking about structure, and structure is probably one of the most important areas out there, whether it be franchising, corporate, entrepreneurial, what the case may be. But here's the thing, it says, we even say this in the financial world, real estate world, is that there is a number one reasons why, I'm not going to say fail, all right, because there's a number one reason why individuals don't do as well as they could, already. And throughout different types of business sectors and different types of relations and working with different types of people all across the country, the number one reason why individuals don't do as well as they do is because they don't have an executed plan. And that's it. It is a plan. It's a plan. It's just, and when somebody comes up to you, I remember people coming to me a long time ago. All right, yes, what is your business plan? And you freeze, because you just know what to say. And it's like,
I'm going to call somebody
I don't
tomorrow.
know.
That's my plan.
Yes, I'm going to phone a friend, and then we're going to do that. It's going to cost me $1.50. And
exactly, nice.
Welcome to Buckhead.
Exactly. So when you turn around and you say, okay, the individuals themselves, they just don't have an executed plan. All right, people want to know what you do. all right, and really put down a plan. It's not a plan from a business plan, but it's a plan from a marketing plan. It's a plan for a strategy plan. And it's probably also an exit plan. And these things themselves. You talked about accountability.
Yeah.
And then accountability of this plan is very crucial. Now, if you say inside that realm of what I say is focus,
right.
All right, that's the first opportunity to create unlimited success. That's my acronym for focus.
Yeah.
But inside, one of the platforms we talked about is accountability.
Right.
And it's the individuals and the opportunities and the environments themselves in which we create that opportunity, in which it opens the doors for those individuals to be successful as long as they have a direct and documented plan, something that they can follow, something that's going to be liquid, but something that's going to be able to adhere to.
Well, liquid. I like what Chuck was talking about is this playbook. I like the idea. So once a week you have a different play that you throw into the mix. But also, to follow that analogy, it gives the team an opportunity to call an audible, right? So you give them that latitude, right?
We give them some latitude. Yeah.
for legal reasons, we have to put that asterisk.
You got
in
a
there,
couple checks you can go into there. But no.
But I mean, if there's a little bit of audible, so if they have a creative idea, whether it's in Seattle or here in Atlanta or in Charlotte, and then they let's propose that to corporate, and then that gets integrated into the system, right?
The best ideas come from our
field.
I was just in Troy, Michigan, and made a surprise visit to one of our stores there. Didn't secret shop.
Oh, like undercover boss?
Yeah, I wore my jacket. I thought about not wearing it.
Stay on the West Coast.
Man, yeah.
But I didn't know the people that were there because we just hired them. So I went in and talked to them, and they had 4 or 5 really good ideas, and I'm like, run them up the flagpole, send them directly to me. I love them. So we'll try them. I mean, and these are kids talking to kids. So we need those ideas, and we welcome that creativity. Yeah.
Well, we do a division called Pro Business On Site. We'd love to take this on the road with you, and we'll do an undercover CMO.
Let's do it.
Right. I'd love to have that on video right now.
So would I.
There you go.
All right, so just literally a couple of minutes left. Let's ask. I'd like to ask each of y'all, what's a good day look like for you, but also kind of what's next, what's on the horizon. We won't. Let's just stay with that. I have a couple more questions, but we're out of time. So, what's a good day look like for you, and what's next on the horizon?
Good day for me is being on the ground. That's good, I'm in the air most of the time, but a good day is if you're going to change one person's perspective, all right, to give them an upper hand, a next advanced point, a development point, it makes my day. It really burns me up, and it just gives me the fire, and that I'm able to change somebody's perspective in just a very small way.
So you like staying mobile, but also staying grounded too.
Good, you have to. With the constant changes that we're seeing day in, day out.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah.
And Chuck?
Good day for us is our people continuing to develop and us continuing to grow our markets. Where we are now, executing what we have now, and making sure that we are covering all the bases in those markets, and then strategically thinking about where we're going next and how we're going to get there. I mean, for instance, one of our biggest initiatives has been to open in student centers on major university campuses across the country.
Good.
So we're at the University of Utah, we're at Oregon State, we're going to Arizona, we're at Utah Valley U, Clemson, UNCG, Elon, and all of those locations are doing exceptionally well. So a good day, a great day for us is when we continue to grow that business and grow the number of tickets, because we see that there's validation in being on those major campuses.
Oh, that'd be huge.
That's huge. Yeah.
And Chuck just went up just from a good day to a great day. That's all. I love that. Yeah. All right, gentlemen. We'll see you next time. Rich Casanova for another episode of the Buckhead Business Show.
Thank you for joining us and our guests on the Pro Business Channel.